Good evening, and welcome to another edition of African Americans Ain't Africans, the Think Show that proves without a shadow of a doubt that the so called African American didn't get to America on a ship in the middle of a hurricane. It didn't happen. So, thank you guys for joining us tonight. This is your Black History lesson. We're going to teach you some things about Black history that maybe you haven't heard of or you didn't understand it or however it's played. This is a present to the people who identify themselves as Black. Because one of the things I notice is that that's something that we hang on to for dear life. We put a lot of energy into it. Tonight, you're going to learn what that does, what it is, and its effect on us. Joining me tonight is always Miss Infused Virgo's with us. How you doing, Miss Infused Virgo?
I'm doing well, thank you for asking. In la que a la que in everybody. Hope everybody's doing well.
So, Black History Month. So, what is this? The first day, second day of
Second
Black
day.
History Month.
Mm-hmm.
There's all kind of things going on in all the cities, places around you where you may live. What I want you to notice is notice who's in it. Notice who's out front with it. All the rainbow community, all the rainbow community. All of them.
True.
This stuff that we hang on to and these holidays that these folks give us, and we don't even know our position on the planet. And when somebody else comes in and tell you what is, it really isn't. So we're gonna get into this tonight. Check this out. You gonna trip out. But before we get into that, I want to share a couple of words from you from the Webster's dictionary, just to get us rolling. Okay. So here's the first one: American or American. American. Soul folks. Soul folks. Those are your ancestors. That's why we tell you to do genealogy. Find your folks. If somebody come and tell you from Madagascar and you go ahead and just believe it, no proof, nothing, and you hold on to that belief, and I've seen people hold on that belief until they died. Just a waste of life being what somebody else told you to be. Do some genealogy on yourself. You're not going to be the same. The first definition we're going to share is American, or you can call it American. You'll notice the vibe you get with using American. You'll get it. Let's just read it. A native of America, originally applied to the Aboriginals or copper colored races found here by the Europeans, but now applied to the descendants of Europeans born in America. So now if it's applied to the descendants of Europeans born in American, what happened to the original Americans? Infuse Virgo. Help me with this.
Well, the original American people are sitting here still, not knowing who they are. They're now African Americans. That's what happened to the original American people.
I is it that hard to see? I mean, is it really that hard to see and believe that your people bury right up under your feet? Generations of them, and you just ignore them. The so-called black people ignore them.
Yes, they do.
Getting together for barbecues and shit, that's no,
Wearing dashikis.
no. Doing a whole bunch of nothing because we're hiding behind ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So the black, the African American, the Negro, the colored, what this definition is, they that flies over their head. They don't even get it. Don't care if it's there or not. You're talking about you. This is your country. You have a say. And that's why I think really a lot of people go into all this Christianity and all these ugh, to hide behind that, to get with people they can vibe with. And you can't vibe with your own people. You talk to the average person that's done some genealogy, what they found out about themselves and the people that they help, what they found will astound you. You're thinking that you're black. And let's pull that definition up
Okay.
because that one, that really gets on my nerve because come on, y'all. I mean, you don't even know what the word means. What they're telling you this words mean. So check this out. Um, Infuse Virgo,
Yes.
you were saying,
Well, there's a few definitions for the word black. And one thing that we should start really doing is looking up the history of words using Edamon. Was introduced to Edamon a while ago, but nonetheless, one of the definitions of black is pale or to be without color. So, and then Carrie, go ahead and pull up the other one and you can go ahead and read that one.
check this out. Now, that definition of American I got from the Webster's 1828 dictionary. So this is when these have to be put in place to teach you how to speak their language because your language wasn't their language. They came from a different place. Whatever your ancestors spoke, which some of the words you use today, a lot of the words that you use today, your ancestors spoke. Go find out what they were. These people aren't gone anywhere. They just been pushed to the side. They just been dogged out by the media, which is a media they support. They get influenced by something called education. And for real,
Oh, don't forget entertainment.
I mean, so you can always be distracted.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the definition of black. The color of night. Show me one person the color of night. I'll give you $2. Darkened by clouds, destitute of light. So light, probably to the people who are writing this dictionary and how they're training their people, light is, you ever see that Columbia, when the Columbia pictures is coming on and it's a lady with a light, a torch in front of her head, Statue of Liberty, that's an emblem of America and it's called Columbia. Shining the light. They're saying you don't have that, so you can see. This is how it translates to them. You take on these names, these identities, whatever they say, and you become it. Isn't that how it's done?
Yes.
I mean, if it's not, I mean, come on. Isn't that how it's done? Peace and Pan-African pancakes. Whoever you are, that shit is funny. Destitute of light, dark, sullen, having a cloudy look or countenance, confused. I don't know. That type look. Always bewildered.
Jesus, take the wheel.
Atrocity, atrociously wicked, horrible as a black deed or crime. So how does a nation of people take this term and apply it to themselves and not think that they crazy? If you saw a girl walking down the street looking like this, you would run. But your definition of yourself, this is what you think of yourself. You were taught that. You didn't do it. You didn't you were taught this. You were taught this. So watch the words that they give you and watch the words that they give you so you can use on yourself, because if you speak it, so it shall be. So let's get into this program, and this is going to be a Cohen, and again, this is a dedication to the black people, the black people who hold on to a term and they look at themselves as black. This is our Black history present to you. Cool.
Cool.
Cool. All right. So let me find it. You can go ahead and say something. You don't have to be
Okay.
shy.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just waiting for you to get the things that, because I have a lot of things to say that go along with my slides. Um, and one of those things I wanted to talk about was the words, and I'm going to utilize a slide that's in there to kind of back this up. But one thing that we have embraced as a people is the word nigger, nigga, whatever. And I've never really thought about it until a year or so ago, where kind of was introduced to what it really was. And the word nigger goes along with the word troglodyte nigger being a monkey or whatever. And so when you look at Charles Darwin's picture of evolution, I want you to pay close attention to how it starts off with the troglodyte nigger and it elevates into man. And look at the way that man that it goes, evolves into. Look at the end results of the spectrum, and start to realize that when they're projecting these words onto us, they are not only using spells, but they're also talking about themselves. So look at the meaning. You'll find a lot. It goes along with Neanderthal and all of those things that we were never included in. So that was just one of those things that I kind of want to throw in there.
You know what? For some reason, I can't get the screen that, the share screen. I can't
Hmm.
share. It's like it's in a different box or something.
Hmm.
I I can't get it.
Um, Let me see. Did you download it to your laptop?
I can't look at it that way. I was just gonna look
Oh.
at it. I was just gonna look at it, have it up on the screen and put
Hmm.
it up. But keep them keep talking. I'm gonna find it. I'll
Okay.
find a way.
Okay. So I put together a presentation going over quite a few different things historically in regards to, uh, I guess, proving against the Black history ideology. And I've been given a lot of pictures from people showing how they had the four groups of people. We had the American Indian, we had the Asiatic person, you had the African, then you had the Caucasian. And these are older pictures that I had found, um, and I had put together on there. Um, just to kind of give people a hindsight into who we really are as a people, because they've removed the category of American Indian and just went from African, Asian, Pacific Islander, and all of that stuff. um, so in the slide presentation that I had created, it was kind of going a little bit into detail about that. um, First of all, you know what, let me stop for a minute. How is everybody doing tonight? How Let me know where you're from, where you're at. Um, but hopefully everything's going well for you. Just want to start off with that. Um, Also, going into the presentation, just bringing up some historical facts too. Um, I'm hoping that we can get it to work because it'll really support what I'm saying, because I really want to use it as a focal point. But either way, okay. So American Warrior from Hartford, Connecticut. That's someplace I've never been. I'm gonna eventually travel on that side of our lands. Let's see here. Carrie, do you need for me to try to get it up on mine?
I mean, if you can.
Let me see. Hold on.
So basically, what Infused Virgo was saying is that the information is all around you. It's in your face. I mean, sometimes you have to look, take your word for it. You don't have to take anybody else's word for it. Take your word for it. What do you say? And normally, with the African American, Black, Negro, they always say what somebody else tells them to say. They never figure out problems for themselves. They go to other people to fix their problems and always get screwed. Always will. no faith in themselves.
No, and we allow people to tell us who we are, and that started with the Racial Integrity Act. And so we just allow people to tell us who we are continually, and we don't say, no, that's not who we are. We just go along and we agree to it. So that's one of the things that I noticed too. We don't put up a fight when it comes to someone telling us who we are, where we can eat, how we can sit. We just comply. And that compliance really kind of needs to stop. In fact, it doesn't kind of need to stop. It needs to stop. I'm trying to see if
you can change the way the world is spinning around the sun. You can change the trajectory of that. And this is not just one organization, 10 organizations, think tanks, social clubs, whatever. Nobody has thought of doing something different where everybody can fit in and do. I mean, we have all these PhDs and all these people who so-called educated. You're educated and this is the way of the world. Explain. And I haven't met one that can explain yet. You got all this education. Schools are making billions off these kids in these colleges. And the average person just sits around and supports it.
Right.
While your country's being flooded. If you can't tell what's happening in your neck of the woods, you're black. You don't see nothing. You're covered by clouds.
Yeah.
Because you cut off your whole connection to the planet.
Yeah.
So, okay, so let's do it like this. Let's do it where I will pull up, because I can pull it up here. I can pull it up.
Okay.
But I can't put it on the screen. So why don't I just pull it up?
Okay.
And I'll read from it, tell you what it is, and we can just go with it from there. Or so you can paint the picture so people can see the picture.
That'll work.
That's cool.
Okay. Yeah, and if you guys want a copy of the PowerPoint I put together, you can reach out to me and I'll send it to you too.
Yeah, because it's really important. It's really important.
Okay, something is going on.
What?
Are you there? Can you hear me, Carrie?
Yeah, I hear you fine.
Okay, it kind of blinked out. Okay, my thing just blinked out. That's why. Okay.
So what are you doing for Black History Month?
Me? Oh, I'm actually doing some studies on some legal stuff to kind of help get out of the situation that we are in. So I've been doing some studying on our rights that we know nothing about.
Right. You know what? I know a lot of people know it. Because the information is being put out. Free on all these channels. That's all you see. People are hard to get it. when you're supposed to be filling a role on this planet like you be seeing those people in the movies. You're supposed to be doing this for the planet. You're
Mhm.
here to do one or two things: promote life or destroy life.
Right.
You only get one of those two things. Put it up. And so this is what we got. And so we're going to explain this to you, paint a picture in your mind. This is Black History Present. Okay. The first image we have is an image of, think about the United States. Put this picture in your mind: the United States, Mexico, Central America, the Caribbean, and South America. Just put that in your mind. This side of the globe. Because the other side of the globe is where other people come from and tell you what to do, tell you who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of us go with it. And we'll get mad if you tell them you're not that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to name you colored. You're going to be over there with the colored people. Anytime you fill out an application, you put colored. That is my designated name for you. Oops, we're not going to use colored no more. We're going to use Negro. We're going to start calling you Negro. It's a Spanish word that our Spanish friends left before they took off for Mexico and the Caribbean, South America. But those are the people who left us that word to call you. Yeah, we're not going to use that word anymore.
Nope.
It's a Spanish word, and we're trying to teach these monkeys English. We're just going to call you Black. And I just showed you what the definitions of, See, these are names. This is how they see you. And if you see yourself the way they see you in a lot of trouble. So that's a reverberation, in my point of view, of us not understanding who and what you are and what your purpose is to this planet.
And then after, all of the colored, the Negro, the Black, we decided in 1988 that all of a sudden we were going to accept African American. And that's basically how we became coined as that. And you can thank good old Jesse Jackson for being the face of the terminology of African American as well. But one interesting fact that I want to point out too is that during the civil rights movement, when they were deciding on what to recategorize you as, they were sliding in the Siberian looking in person and starting to call them Native Americans. So they removed the American Indian from you, and they gave them Native American to replace you. So that's when that transition kind of took place. And you can verify this and look this up if you guys are interested in it. But that's kind of one of those moments where they did a slip and slide like they're trying to do now. So
another image is, and this will be something good. This will be a good exercise for your children. Let's say how kids just start getting on a computer. They know how to work the phones, and they really catch on to these images real quick. Show your children how to look up things. So give them this. Your children, a friend who's into learning new stuff. Do exercises like this with them to get them interested. and you just got to pull up some fly shit. So if you're at the computer now, you just, just hanging out, just listening, pull up an image called America and her oldest daughter, America. Is that what it's called?
No,
Is
it's
that
it's America and her sister Britannia.
America, Britannia?
Yep.
Check out that image, and you tell me who that is. Who is it? I mean, just don't look at the feathered hat and listen. People didn't walk around with feathers in their hair all day long. These are other people's images of you. And because when you ask people, well, why do you wear feathers? They don't know. You have to know why the people use the feathers. At least you have to connect to your environment. Birds are a part of your environment. Why are you putting their feathers with your clothing? You got to know that. Just to do it, just to be cute and to go out and talk some bullshit words to confuse everybody, that doesn't help. You're either here to help or you're either here to hinder. So that picture of Britannia's oldest or youngest daughter, whatever it is, that image, who was that woman? That's your great-great-grandmama.
Right.
We do know that, right? We do know that, right?
Mm-hmm.
I gotta pull up that image because you have to see it. What's the name of it again?
America and her sister Britannia.
Britannia.
If I spelled it wrong, I put it in the group, but I mean in the chat, I probably spelled it wrong, but that's basically it. You'll find it on Google. They have plenty of our art and pictures of us.
Okay.
So
just have your kid, just have your youngsters, when they're out of school or whatever, and just have them look up cool little facts about themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It'll change the way they grow up. That's what it is. The reconciliation between Britannia and her daughter America. Who is this, y'all? Who is this? And see, this is what I'm saying. We can't not know these things. We don't know. You can't not know this stuff.
Right.
This is come on.
There we go. Yep. I'm sorry. Well, I had a little correct. Something else too, Carrie? If you notice in the picture, the male warriors were standing in the back and the males were standing in the back on the other side as well. And they it was the women who were meeting each other and embracing each other. So this right here kind of goes hand in hand with the Great Laws of Peace, where it's showing how revered and how powerful our women were and are, and showing how they were a major part of governmental decisions, because this is a picture where they were going to be joining together in building something. What happened after that, we don't know. We can tell is everywhere, but this picture is a symbol of the power of the American women. Because it wasn't two men embracing, it was two women.
Yeah, I've had conversations with brothers like that.
Mm-hmm.
And, we have to look. We have to look at the things way. Like I say, so these people tell you who you are. They tell you all about yourselves, even though they weren't even here.
Right.
How they came in here and did what they did and is still doing, and the average person goes for it. Still, cousin, for real. I mean, have your have your son or daughter, get to the computer and say, "Hey, look up the reconciliation between Britannia and her daughter America on the computer, and watch what happens when they do that. When the image comes up, you are now introducing them to their grandmothers, great 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 grandmothers. But if you're black, Hebrew Israelite, no tip, whatever, you want this will never cross your mind. Never cross your mind. There's another image. I just gotta find it. I'm sorry. I I am not too computer savvy. Yes, you may, Nicole.
Hmm? What'd you say? I'm sorry.
Yes, you may.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out how to help you get the screen up because it's like that's where my mind is at, and I'm trying to remember. You know what? I have an idea. Give me a second, you guys. I'm gonna pull it up on another device so I can look at it. That way, I can kind of be more interactive. Because all right. So let's see here. Let's see. Carrie, can you pull up a picture of Benjamin Franklin on the stance of race in 1751?
Benjamin Franklin.
Ben Franklin. In fact, okay, so the reason why I'm saying that is because there was an article, Ben Franklin, um, let's see, it was in a Gentleman's Quarterly magazine. It's called The Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind, Peopling, and Countries.
Sorry, you guys. I just couldn't pull up that other screen. The observations concerning what?
Concerning the increase of mankind, peopling, people, and we see the increase of mankind,
I got it.
peopling of countries. Okay.
I got it. You want the original document or the
Yeah, that's
link for?
it. There's just section 24 is all I need.
Okay.
You know when you got it. Well, basically, Benjamin Franklin, who I kind of learned some interesting things about, but I can go into that another time. He wrote an article, and in the article, it was basically talking about how everybody was swarthy or tawny. Swarthy means dark skin, tawny means light brown skinned. And he goes into basically saying that the goal should be to lighten up the planet, that we need to whiten up society because there's too many dark-skinned, tawny people. And he goes off naming like the Germans and the Swedish and the American Indians, and how you can't tell the difference between them because everybody was swarthy or tawny. So I use that in here to kind of show you that the society was not as it is today, that it was full of people of color, as they want to refer to us, or American Indian, swarthy, and tawny people. Um, in fact, if I can get it to come up on my phone the right way, I'm gonna read it. It says, in one part, he says, and while we are, as I may call it, scouring our planet by cleaning America of woods, and so making this side of our globe called, wait, hold on, our side of the globe reflecting a brighter light to the eyes of the inhabitants in Mars or Venus. Why should we, in the sight of superior beings, darken its people? Why increase the sons of Africa by planting them in America, where we have so far an opportunity, by excluding all blacks and all tawnies, of increasing the lovely white and red? So he's telling you right there that in America, there were quite a few people that were swarthy and tawny, and that the goal was to get rid of us. They didn't want us here. So if you get a chance, it's actually in the Library of Congress. It was an article that Benjamin Franklin wrote in 1751, and it's called Observations Concerning the Increase of Mankind, Peopling of Countries. So if you get a chance, read it. Then it kind of gives you a hindsight as to what their objective was, what their goal was. They came to a new land, who they want to refer to as a new world, and they saw how powerful our societies and our structures were. And after that, it was all go for what they know. So definitely look into that. And it kind of, too, I'm gonna not be as long-winded as I normally am, but it kind of goes into the treaties and like the great laws of peace and so forth, because those were all existing at that time. And they even owned up it recently, I think about maybe 10, 20 years ago, to using the great laws of peace in some of the American Indian documents to set up their own government, because we had ours established and so forth, and they had no idea of what they were doing. So they copied some of our ideologies to create the government that is in existence today.
Now, what she's saying is, is that really hard to fathom? Does this make more sense than bringing people 5,000 miles across the Atlantic on boats? Nothing for 5,000 miles. Nothing. Where was the water on the ships? So ask that question to people and watch what they say. Where were the water? We don't. These are questions we're not trained. We're trained to not think about simple things. Oh, they probably had bottled water back then. These are
No.
people that tell you this is how they keep control of your lives, to make you think something that you're not. It's just that simple. Make you think that you're something that you're not.
Yep, because of the fact that the people in Eurasia and Africa are also back at that particular time, which is a picture that you don't really see a lot, and maybe you can find this one, are called Asiatisca folks. And when you see the picture of Asiatisca folk, you'll understand that those people are not you.
Asiatisca.
Yeah, Asiatisca folk.
Got it.
Got it. Okay. I mean, take a look at this picture and look at the many different faces and complexions of the Asiatisca people. It's all of Eurasia.
How do you spell that?
That is going to be ASIATISKA.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sorry.
You know what?
Hmm?
You that image is out of the way. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is, guys. These are Asiatisca people. And you tell me, and so I'm gonna tell you a story about an Asiatisca person that ruined a lot of lives over here. And many of you know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me pull up this picture, this image of these Asiatisca people. Ta-da!
Excuse me. Perfect. So the Asiatisca picture shows the modern day African, the Japanese, the Chinese, the Mongolian period, the Russian, the Yugoslavian, the Persian, or in the Middle Eastern person. These are all those people. Oh, don't forget about the Hindustanian, not Indian. That is called Hindustan. Those people are not you. Never been you, never going to be you. So, who are you speaking of, Carrie? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I was thinking of Stokely Carmichael.
What about
Because he was actually from India. I was told at one time. He was not an American person.
I mean, could be the
Yeah.
same with Mark. The same with Marcus
It's
Garvey.
Garvey. Yep.
You don't know if he's from Jamaica or not. That's what they tell you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't. I mean, they just tell us anything, and we just go with it.
Mm.
That's what they said. I mean, I have kids that don't even think about the way they breathe.
Yep. You know, and speaking of Marcus Garvey and that Pan-African movement, you know that the Pan-African movement goes hand in hand with eugenics, right? That's something that existed together. In fact, eugenics built the Pan-African movement, supported it, and financed it as well. So,
You know, all of this stuff. If you're not controlling the things that if you're not creating life sustaining things in your community, why are you here? Why are you here?
taking up space.
I mean, you're either here to create or destroy.
Yeah.
And destroying could mean destroying yourself. So this
Mm-hmm.
is what I wanted to say about the Asiatisca people. Who was the person from this part of the world that came over here and Negroes started calling him daddy? You got to know it. Fard Muhammad. Ooh,
Mm.
Fard Muhammad. He was the one bringing the heroin over here. Then, what do Negroes do? Worship him, call him most benevolent. And he killed out generations of your people. And you just want to lick them in the mouth. That's what black people do. Right?
Right.
I mean, what? They have built places in Chicago, New York, all over the East Coast, talking about a religion that people are walking through your city every day, your cities and towns every day, have an economy that you support, and wonder why your economic conditions in all your communities are twisted. Not only do they support themselves, they get the indigenous people of America to do it because they think they're supposed to do it. And they do it. See, I'm just looking at what's going on in the community
Mm-hmm.
every day.
The
So,
self-destruction runs deep. I mean, it really does, but it's been influenced by the I guess I'm trying to think of the word. It's been influenced by the media and by the fact that we have lost the ability to, as a collective, to think for ourselves and not just accept the hand-me-downs that are given to us or what we are told we are. Um, the the need to fit into a society that was existent before anybody came here is beyond my thought now. I mean, as when I was younger, you're trying to feel your way in, and so you are in school and you get taught this and you get taught that, and you might have questions, but when you see your parents being compliant and your grandparents being compliant, you think that's the right thing to do, that you shouldn't question these things. And so we stopped a lot of questioning by, by our youth, and fed them this, and that's why we're here now, because a lot of the youth ain't going for it no more. So it's like there's just things, like with the Asiatisca people, there's questions that we should have asked, and there's ground that we should have stood on and we didn't. We accepted it for face value. So
Yeah, I think if you get a chance to go around your city, and you run into some of the homeless veterans out there, these cats, they're they have a confidence about themselves that's what you ever see that cartoon where the guy walked around and it was always a cloud over his head raining?
mm-hmm.
It's a cartoon. That's what these brothers look like. Because when you talk to them, the things they say, like, dude, what you out here thinking about? And you ask them, they'll tell you, you know, they're out here thinking about, they just came from the army. They was just in Afghanistan and they killed a couple of families over there for boss. That's what Negroes do. Wonder
Mm-hmm.
why things don't go good at home, because this is what you do abroad.
Mm-hmm.
We don't get it. That doesn't resonate. We think we're doing good by just saying, thank you for your service. You don't know what these guys have done, because they damn sure wasn't here protecting you.
No, they were not.
But we like to pretend because we're told to pretend. And remember, American, you got to be patriotic. And this is how the Negro is trained. This is what they're told to think and say. All that stuff.
Right.
So it's real, y'all.
And then another thing too is that when you refer to yourself as African American, you refer to yourself as government property. And if two people don't, if you don't associate the terminology that is used with the way that you see African Americans treated, then you really have to step back and look at that, because that's why, like, for example, when there's this police thing where a police officer kills a young African American male and he gets away with it, it's because in the legal system, you ain't shit. So they can do whatever they want to you, because you let them tell you who you are. So now legally you're their property. And if they kill one of you, so what? They're going to get a slap on the wrist. They're going to give you $1 million, and you're going to go about your day and thank Jesus because that happened. Because you've learned to be the individual who looks at the monetary value instead of the value of life or the value of who you really are. So that's why that happens when we see all these things that are going on in the media with the black on black crime and the Black Lives Matter. Technically too, and with that they're saying pale lives matter, if you know the definition in Edmond. But once again, your property, when you put that on the application, you are property. You got to start claiming who you are. And if you put other, whatever you put, don't put yourself down as African American, because when you do that, you're feeding the machine, in so many words.
Yeah, when you get a chance, and everybody will, you should have a chance, those who are looking, because, this is just what I believe. See, every time I have a conversation with people, they always storm off mad. And it's just because they've been trained to do a certain thing a certain way. They don't do it how their people do it. They're trained to do it the
Hmm.
way other people do it so they can assist those other people in conquering them.
Right.
Is that simple?
Yeah.
And we got to see that. We got to see that. I know a lot of us like to hide behind these religions and clubs and whatever churches and whatever is out there. But you are in the inside of the body that's listening to this conversation we're having. You are not your physical body. You are on the inside running everything, but you think you're the physical body. You're not. You are in there, whatever you're doing to keep life pumping through this body. That's you. It's not your body. Everything comes from you. And I hope you're getting, what I mean when I say you, everything you are connected. This is where you incarnated at. Incoming. Boom. That's why you have to look at conception before birth. We spend a lot of time, money, eat a whole bunch of bullshit cake on the day. It had to be the great day for your mama because she dropped 9 pounds. So, the day you were conceived, the time you were conceived. Why? This is when you incarnated. You hit down for something. Why? At that time, that
Right.
Gemini, Leo, Virgo, Taurus stuff, that's 10th dairy. That's 10th down the line, probably further than that. There are things about yourself that is right in your memory bank and you don't even use it.
Right.
So,
That's very true.
hey, your conception, when you get here, what you come here for? And that's why it's a good time, on Mother's Day, stuff like that, where you guys get together, talk to your mom about things like that. You'll learn a lot about yourself. A conception date, or I won't say date because it make it seem like it's a a certain day. It may not be that. It may not be a certain day, but around the vicinity. I mean, you got between a month. You know, you can crack it down to at least a month in that vicinity. Find out boom. This is how you find out stuff about yourself. Not put your day the day that you were conceived or born. Somebody else comes up with the dates, some Gregorian calendar. That's not how you view time. That's how they view time. Once you're in a matrix, you're gonna do whatever they say.
Right.
Because and their whole thing is artificial. It's an artificial
Yeah.
lifestyle. It's an artificial construct. You know a little bit about that, don't you?
Yeah.
So this is go ahead and give your email address and I'll give mine, and we can send this out because this is off the hook.
Right. And also with what you were saying about conception in regards to the history of, some of the children not making it here that, that should have been born. You had something that you guys should also look up called the Negro Project. It also goes hand in hand with Pan-Africanism and eugenics and so forth. I mean, it's just like in the slides that I have a little bit more information on it, but check it out and really look into it because you can see where people who resemble you were also a part of the beginning of the demise of children who were not born. I mean, I don't really think that we have a right to not have a child. There are situations where sometimes it cannot be prevented, but to implement a program for people to abort children because um, they just don't want them, but they were not responsible enough not to have them is something that we're paying for right now. So look into the Negro Project because it goes hand in hand with what Carrie was saying about conception and and our people as well, because we've been manipulated into thinking that abortions are a form of birth control when they're a form of genocide. So
Definitely.
yeah.
And you know what? And what I don't think, and this is why you have to get involved. It's hard, it's hard getting with these people, these governments, these school boards, and all that. It's tough getting with them because they ugh. Go to some of your city council meetings. Go to some of your school board meetings. Go to some of your PTA meetings, and you will see the people in there are out of their minds.
hmm I mean, just alone in the educational system, the one thing that when I decided I wanted to go to college was I had to take a test to see how I learned. And if you really think about our people learn in a auditory listening and a visual seeing and a hands-on doing type of process. We don't learn by sitting down in front of a chalkboard and having a book and having to take notes. That's not how our brains work. And that's why they mislabel so many of our children as having ADHD and this and that and try to put them on different medications and pills and all that, because we don't learn that way, because that's not how we through our DNA and through our lives have been taught. We've always been shown, like when your mom wanted you to learn how to cook, she didn't give you the box and say read it. She brought you in the kitchen and said, okay, I want you to crack the eggs, I want you to put this in there, add this, add that, because she was teaching you. And when you're doing it, your memory was maintaining the information so you could go on and make your own cake. So they have infiltrated each structure that we built, educating our children, how we had children, how we married, how we built our communities. And going into this Black history, you can, if you look at your actual history, you can see how they also infiltrated your history. And that was the point of the presentation, was to show you that the people that they are telling you are is not, and this is the people that you are. So I would like to send it out to you guys so you can look at it, because I'm kind of proud of it. But you can definitely see the different areas and avenues where they have infiltrated and caused harm to our society, and we just accepted it and never questioned it and didn't push for it not to happen.
So, hopefully that narrative is changing
hmm
because, I mean, seriously, last time we had a couple of young men on here, and these brothers were under 30 years old, and they ripped it. They ripped it.
They did.
And these were young men. You could tell by the way their voices sound. They weren't over 30.
Right.
So they see it. They see what's happening. Because that's all we talk about is what's happening and its effect on us. Because it's having an effect on a lot of us. We like to pretend like it's not, but it is.
Mm-hmm.
It
It
is.
definitely, it definitely is.
So we can try to pretend like what we see is not what we see. But you seriously got to get into the groove of being connected to your ancestral homeland. You can learn a lot just by watching the environment that you live in. If it's a natural environment,
And also the way that it watches you when you're out in it. You can tell that this is the land that you existed from by the way in the summertime when you go outside and the dragonflies follow you, or the butterflies come and just land in your hair, or the way when you walk barefoot, the way that you can feel the earth pounding underneath your feet. You can feel the connections. You just have to open your mind up to do it.
and that's been pared down by getting you to walk on concrete
And with rubber shoes.
with rubber shoes.
Yep, rubber shoes.
You don't not won't even feel the vibration of the planet.
Yep, that's why grounding is important.
Yeah.
Hey,
Have
Carrie,
you ever
I'm sorry, go ahead.
go ahead?
No, when you have a chance, can you pull up, because I had mentioned this earlier, the picture of Charles Darwin's evolution? Maybe I wanted to just kind of show to support what I said earlier.
Charles Darwin.
Theory of evolution. It'll show a picture. It should show a picture or an image of like a monkey going into being man.
Okay.
But anyway, I didn't want to interrupt what you were saying. I'm sorry. We can go ahead and then I can show that or whatever.
I mean, serious.
Hmm.
This is what this is what they were given to people.
Yes.
Seriously,
Yes. This is what they were giving to people. So this man, Charles Darwin, is also the cousin of Sir Francis Galton, who created the Eugenics Society, who felt that there was Caucasian superiority. Um, this the at the end is the troglodyte nigger, but they took off troglodyte and we embraced the word nigger, so it's a monkey. But this is basically them telling you who they are and what they use DNA and all of this type of stuff to evolve into. So that's just a hindsight of something that I want you guys to think at and look at when they are talking about natural selection and all this of that, because there's no way a man or a being can evolve from a monkey and then there's still monkeys on the planet. That makes sense. Wouldn't all the monkeys be gone when they have when they if they were if that was a form of evolution? Wouldn't all the monkeys be? But there still wouldn't there would be none. There would be none. That doesn't it makes no logical sense if you think about it. When you speak of evolution like this, because where would be no chimpanzees if in and there would be no apes if that's what we evolved from. So what it picked and it decided, oh well, you can still stay a monkey, but you're going to turn into a man or a woman. That theory of evolution, and it goes against the Adam and Eve theory too. It just doesn't make any sense. But this is what eugenics pushed, and people bought into it. So
People still buying into it today.
yeah, they do. You really, everybody I think should really look into learning about eugenics and how it supported a lot of the Pan-African movement, how it is supporting a lot of the educational system that we have put our children into. They have a website, I think it's called eugenics.ca. I think that's it, but it has a chart on it, and it breaks it down into every part of the educational system, of the food, of everything. And I believe Bill Gates' father was a co-chairperson or something like that, and in the Planned Parenthood thing. So that should let you know where it's still existing, and they've created something they call a nicer eugenics called CRISPR. So you guys should really do some studying on the things that are going on in the society we live in and how they are affecting us as a people, because they're advancing and they're creating things to stick in your brain and doing this and doing that, but it's all falling under the guise of eugenics, and it's something that, like I said, you should have knowledge of. It plays a big part in destruction of the American people. Big part. Tuskegee experiment was part of it. Um, the vaccine part of it, it's just the Negro Project, the abortion clinics, Planned Parenthood, food. Eugenics is a huge part of the creation of Black history and so forth. Because those same people who started HSBUs, who were actually Jewish people, believed in eugenics. NAACP was started by Jewish people. They believed in eugenics. So, definitely look at how these pieces all fit together, and you'll start to maybe see where I'm going with everything that I'm saying.
You don't have to look, and you don't have to look far.
No, you don't.
Matter of fact, you don't really even have to look.
It's right in your face.
Right in your face. Now, just because you like to wear sunglasses at night, you better start paying attention seriously. What's happening? And for those, and I'm gonna give you guys a movie. Check this movie out next time. Let me know what you thought of it. Check out a film called They Live.
Yeah.
Check out a film called They Live, and check out the juxtaposition it has with the shades. What the shades do. You are inside your body. And that is controlled by nature. When somebody comes and tell you that you're this, you're that, you do this, this is your history. I teach you, I feed you. You're basically whatever they say you are. And that's what African Americans, Negroes, and Black people are. I mean, don't get mad at me. I know when we speak truth, a lot of times we can't take it.
All right.
You guys have a good night. Think about what we said. Peace.